Hello!
Good morning.
Oh, hey, we need to let the microphone warm up, right?
Well, I think every time I've done it here, it's been fine. It's when I do it at church
Okay.
in the sanctuary.
So, hello.
My microphone doesn't like the sanctuary.
Oh, I see.
So, we are in Leviticus 32.
Yes. We're in Numbers.
Sorry.
It's Numbers 32.
Numbers. Verse 16 through 19.
Which is just about as dry as Leviticus 32. But we'll stick with Numbers for today.
So, there were 2.5 of the tribes decided they didn't want to get their inheritance in what's called the Promised Land, Israel. And so they said, you know what, we want to stay here on this side of the Jordan and have our inheritance here instead of going over there. And Moses got really mad, and he told him, because he thought they were just sort of copping out. And they said, no, and this is where we pick up the story. It says, then they came up to him and said, we would like to build pens here for our livestock and cities for our women and children, but we are ready to arm ourselves and go ahead of the Israelites until we have brought them to their place. Meanwhile, our women and children will live in fortified cities for protection from the inhabitants of the land. We will not return to our homes until every Israelite has received his inheritance. And we will not receive our inheritance with them on the other side of the Jordan, because our inheritance has come to us on the east side of the Jordan. Moses said, if you will do this, if you will arm yourselves before the Lord for battle, and if all of you will go armed over the Jordan before the Lord until he's driven out his enemies before him, then when the land is subdued before the Lord, you may return and be free of your obligation to the Lord and to Israel. And this land will be your possession before the Lord. So that's God's word for God's people. Let's say thanks be to God.
Thanks be to God.
So it gets really fun from there, because there a whole lot of conflict happens because they chose to stay over there. We came over here. It's like those cousins and those relatives in far distant places. So staying with what's known instead of going for what God has promised.
This is good enough right here, so why move on, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of risk on the other side of that river.
Yeah. So, how do you do? Do you stay with what's safe, or do you try to go for God's best?
And is it really safe, or is it just what you already know?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because they still had to build fortified cities to protect the women and the children. So it tells me there was some element of danger on that side of the river, but it was just this is good. I can settle for this. So,
yeah.
Is it safer, or is it just what we already know, and it's scary to go across that river into something that we don't know yet?
Yeah. Crazy, but that's what they chose. So where do we choose that in our own lives, to settle for what we know rather than what's possible?
Good question.
Come here. Stop. So, sit. Sit. You're fine. So, Bruce and Melody just got a puppy.
I saw that. It's not as big as this.
It's as big as
his nose. His head puts head, maybe.
My nose is the size of their dog. So where do you do that? That's just a question, and there's something for you to think about. Where do you tried to come up with a song for this passage, and it's Numbers. There's not. I mean, you literally look up in the hymn index, and it's like
hymns that go with numbers. 0.
Well, there are some.
That was the number, 0.
Oh, no. There are some hymns, but there aren't many.
Right.
So, anyway, thanks for joining us today. And we hope you have a great Wednesday. We will see you again tomorrow.
Have a great Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.
You got it?
I got it.